What's up, guys? This is David from Team Woven, and I'm coming to you guys on the Card Guyz channel, one of the best teams out there right now. And so what I wanted to do was do an update on my Subterror list. I posted one recently, but I feel like this list I have right now is a more well-rounded list. This has a better matchup against multiple decks. It inherently has a good Spiral matchup, but I'll explain the text I did to make it more well-rounded. This actually has a better matchup against Pendulum Magician now. And so I'll explain that in a little bit. So I cut down, so this is the Subterror lineup, just 4 cards. I cut the Warrior down to 1. I never want to see multiples and you're almost always searching it, or just getting, like, you don't need to hard draw it, you don't need to see it, it's always searchable, so that's the reason why I cut it down to 1. 1 Fiendus. Fiendus is like an insane card, the best hand trap in the game. When Uma strikes, he banishes monsters, and then Glacier is the Heart and Soul. He's a Beatrice, foolishes any card, monster, spell, or trap. And so I really like this lineup. It's a really good supporting engine, I would say. Subterrors add a lot, like, you can have the Hin City, which is about like an attack negate, like really big defense face down monsters that they have to deal with. It's actually like, you don't know how annoying like it is to deal with Subterrors back by, like, with like say a Mechaba up in like a Mechaba Subterror with the Hin City. Like what this deck does basically is it puts out really strong first turn boards, and then they're like soft lock boards, so it's not like you're gonna win off those boards. What happens is the game goes back and forth from there, but in a simplified game state, Subterror, that's when Subterrors really shine. Because, yeah, they're slower, but in that slow game, they're superior. Like, not being able to get around big defense monsters that are constantly banishing, and this is summoning, and using this as stepping stones to make, like rank 4s and different things like that. That's where this deck really shines, and so I think it's just one of the best supporting engines out there right now. And then only one Alistair. I was thinking about bumping this up to 2. But, and I might do that, but I'm still figuring out the ratios. But this is the best I've come up with as of now from even more testing. So still 1 Alistair. That's all you really need. And then 3 Armageddon Knight. And then targets are going to be 1 Dark Worm and 1 Destrudo. This is like one of the best starter cards. You always want to open this. Dark Worm has more importance in this updated list, and I'll explain that later with cards. And then Destrudo is a Heart and Soul. That's like your main combo piece. And then one of the last targets that you're going to be wanting to send to the grave is going to be Global. Global gives you access to Omega, and then most importantly, Nappies. So Nappies is like one of the best soft lock monsters in the game right now. And then I cut down, I was playing Droll and Lock in my last list. I switched it for Kaijus. So my reasoning behind this was Droll, like game 1, Droll doesn't do as much against Pendulum Magicians as like a Kaiju does, because even if you somehow Droll Pendulum Magicians, which doesn't even hurt, they can still end on Bagooska or whatever, so you, like, that card is kind of like a neg 1, and you still like lose to Bagooska. So this gets rid of other problem monsters as well. And also, I'll explain the whole Kaiju Slumber thing later, but these are basically searchable in this deck. So, also different attributes for the Invoked as well, for Raijin and Purgatrio. It's really good to have fire targets for Purgatrio. That's one of the best things about it too. And so for hand traps, I'm just playing 3 Ash, 2 Ogre, and 1 Maxi. Fiendus also counts as a hand trap, I guess, but I'm happy with this. A lot of people are playing 3. I've always just been a fan of 2. I never really want to see, I always want to see Ash over Ogre, but like Ogre, I don't know, Ogre at 2, it's been working for me, so I wouldn't bump it up. At least that's my personal opinion. So that's it for monsters. And then for spells and traps, so actually I'm not even playing traps, so just spells. It's going to be 3 Dragon Ravine, 3 Hin City, and 3 Meltdown, or sorry, 2 Meltdown. And to search those, obviously 3 Terraforming, and still the 1 set rotation. And so this is like the most consistent way to make your plays. Like this is a +1, this is a +1, this search is the +1s, this is the combo piece that gets you to +1s. Like you're plussing a lot in this deck, and you're able to play through a lot of things if you open multiple field spells. And so a lot of times you can bait with Dragon Ravine, and it's like really, it's like this is like the one thing that they want to bait. And then the good thing about Invoked also is that you're activating this and then searching the Alistair, summon Alistair, it gets ashed because they think you're playing Invoked or whatever. Then you just play a Dragon's Ravine, and then you go off with your combo because you know you're not getting ashed. Yeah, that kind of seems like a little like but the ending board's worth it. So either way, they're down a card, and it's hard to out nappies with just the 5 cards that they get. So that's for the field spells. So a lot of field spells. And for the next cards, the fusions, the fusion spells, it's going to be double instant fusion and an invocation. One invocation just for the Alistair. This is like a reoccurring little engine, so you only need like 1 Alistair, 1 invocation. And then the instant fusions, I explained it in my last list, but I'll kind of re-explain it. This is like a combo piece. You summon out Raijin to bring out your behemoths if you draw them, or summons Kaliga to make a rank 4 play. And this is really cool with Meltdown as well, since they can't respond to the Raijin. And then I'm playing actual spell and trap removal now. I just find it annoying to deal with the stupid trap that Pendulum Magicians play, so I kind of have to put this in here. You're paying kind of a lot of life points with Destrudo, but if you can also like play it right where you do this first, and then when you do Destrudo, you're losing. You only go down to 35. So I don't know. The life point doesn't really bother me, and then this is just inherently good against the scales and stuff like that in other decks too, like True Draco if people are playing that or whatever. And then now for the one-ofs, I added a Dragon Shrine. I felt like Dark Worm, I wasn't abusing Dark Worm as much because that's like the easiest way to do the combo as well. Like just like a way to get to Dark Worm and then Hin City, you don't have to go through the whole Ancient Fairy play. So Dragon Shrine also just like, since you have 2 targets, if you already use Destrudo or Dark Worm, like you're always going to have targets for this. Destrudo's always putting itself back, so this is always going to be live. And what I was saying about the Kaijus being searchable, obviously, was through Slumber. The Behemoth can Foolish Slumber, so you basically could search your Kaijus. Also, just hard drawing Slumber is insane, but you could abuse the Kaijus a little bit more with this deck. And then we have the Foolish Burial, the Rhoda, and Soul Charge. So all of these are insane. Like no matter what, these are like extenders. There's nothing else. This like, you see any of these, you're going to be doing well. And then now for the extra deck. Alright, and then shoutouts to Chris, come back. Shoutouts to Team Oven. And so it's going to be Omega. I was playing Crystal Wing before. It didn't come up as much as I needed to. A couple games it did, and then I thought I was like, okay, but realistically I'm trying to make it as consistent as possible. So just 1 Omega, you're able to make it with a level 7 and a global, basically. Gets itself out of the extra deck zone, so that's important. Double Ancient Fairy Dragon, it's field spell dot deck, so you're obviously going to need 2. It's going to come up, 1 gets negated, 1 gets ash, you're going to have to make the play again. Then a Black Rose, and then a Yazi. I found Yazi cool because it's the same Diamond Direwolf Omega effect where it gets itself out of the extra deck zone. And then also the fact that it's untargetable is pretty cool too. So against like paleo matchups and different things like that, like it actually is kind of relevant. And then the last synchro is going to be Nappies, best soft lock monster right now. It's really hard to deal with. This deck's able to protect it. The Invoked lineup's a little different. So I had these 3. I had this in my last list, just 4, but I added the second Mechaba. This is where the Crystal Wing turned into. Basically, since you're only playing 1 Alistair, they're gonna try to bait the Mechaba by trying to run it out. Like they try to bait it and then run it over, instead of wasting your 1 Alistair off of just boosting him, and then he's kind of stuck in the zone. you just let it die, and you keep the Alistair in your hand, and you just make the second one off the first, you know. So just a little bit bigger lineup, not too much. Combo pieces, and this is just game. And then for the 4s, it's going to be Utopia package, a Diamond Direwolf, and this is my spicy tech that I don't know why I haven't seen anyone else play it, is Cricket Cook. And so Cricket Cook, basically make him, if you make Cricket Cook with no other cards on the field, he's unaffected by any other card effects. So this is my Bagooska out, basically. I'm playing the Kaijus, so if I don't have the Kaijus, I have like a generic rank 4 way to out Bagooska, because that's like the most annoying card to deal with. I don't know why they printed it. So in my last list, I was playing Bagooska, and that was my only out to their Bagooska, is making my own. But now I was looking at the cards, and I found Cricket Cook. Basically, it's like Dark Worm in any 4, make this. Like you send Dark Worm, make him without anything, so like say a Dragon Shrine or a different way to pitch Dark Worm. Like Instant Fusion gets Kaliga in a 4, or Dark Worm in the Grave with a 4 equals this guy. And he's 23, he runs over Bagooska, and then he's unaffected, so this is actually like something to deal with for them. Also, I'm citing artifacts, so if I end up hard drawing my Scythe or anything like that, I can make this and then blow up on their turn. That's rarely going to happen. This is mostly for a Bagooska out, but I think more people should be playing this. This card's like super, super good. And then for my side deck, this changed too a little bit. Side blocker. So I was thinking of level 4 monsters that I could abuse. Like I could still do my combo and get an effect off of 4. So I was thinking like, oh, side blocker would be perfect. Like call Super Agent, or if you know you're gonna be making a good board, you call, let's say, Evenly Matched, or you could call Ash Blossom to make sure your field spells go through. Like you cite this thing going first when you know what you're playing against, and you know like what could stop your plays, or if you know that they have something that could out your board. This just makes this so, like, if you call Super Agent, it makes the effects, like, all the extending plays of Spiral, like, you stop that for the turn, so they can't even break the board that you make with this, and then I thought it just solidifies your board, like, even more. Also, another level 4 I was thinking of that I get more value off of is Holding Legs. Holding Legs is good in 2 ways. One, it just you summon it and its effects on its summon, so that instantly like provokes the back row. Also, what's cool about this guy is when he's in the grave, you could target a set card that they control, a set spell and trap, and then they can't activate it until the until the end of your opponent's next turn. So basically, you could send if you have these in and you don't see it, you could foolish this with the Behemoth, and this essentially becomes like an MST. So you have back row removal and like a 4 that you can eat off of for Destrudo. So I thought these were the level 4s that you could get the most value off of. And then for like board wipes / like clearance, like to deal with boards, I'm playing 2 Book of Eclipse and Regeki. This is cool against Magical Musketeers. I haven't had too much playtesting against them, but this is there also for Spiral. And then Regeki, just like really good. And also, if you Book of Eclipse and you flip your stuff down, it could trigger a Behemoth in your hand as special, if that comes up. But these are mostly for stupid boards that you don't want to deal with. Then, like I said before, I'm still playing the artifacts. So 3 Sanctum, Lancia, also for Evenly Matched, / like AVC and Invoked and different things like that, and then Scythe the Scythe. Really good cards deciding going first. You could take out like Kaijus and stuff like that and put these in. And then every side deck should be playing this Evenly Matched, best card. Should have been printed. Well, it should. It honestly like helps you go second, and this is the best card against Pendulum Magician, and especially since the new Electrum's coming out in the next set, a lot of people are going to be looking to play Pendulum Magician, so I made my list in like with that in mind, that Pendulum Magician is getting a big boost, so I have a better matchup against them now. So thanks for checking this out. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Shout outs to the Card Guys again, and shout outs to my team, Team Woven. Look us up. And this is David signing out.